What if there was, there's plenty of what ifs.
What if we didn't have corruption,
persecuciones o guerras,
HIV,
ageism,
discrimination,
stigma.
ماذا لو فهم الجميع في العالم معنى أن تكون مهاجراً بعيداً عن أهلك، بعيداً عن ناسك، بعيداً عن وطنك؟
I always think, what if my home just disappears? What if my whole country disappears? And what if my daughter never gets to see it?
What if the world was cleaner?
What if my child could grow up in a world where climate change wasn't a constant threat and where cities were pollution-free?
أمنيتي إلها خاصة بعدل الفرق بين المدينة وبرات المدينة.
Tous les jours, on voit les villes grandir, on voit un exode rural des populations, et cela vient avec beaucoup de problèmes, des problèmes de logement, des problèmes d'insalubrité, des problèmes de santé publique.
By 2050, globally, there will be more people over the age of 60 than children. So we need to plan for age-friendly cities.
Но это единственным образом можно решить. Один шаг за шагом.
There's so many people that have nothing, and there's so few people that have a lot. And you think about inequality. So important to understand that we need a world that is more equal.
What if we lived in a world where all that mattered was how we cared about each other?
We're all deserving of the same kind of care and love and health and education. And these are just all basic necessities that we should all have access to.
世界上的贫富差距应该可以减少，而且将会有更多的工作机会给新的一代。
New technology can do things that are completely undreamt of. What if it was used for bringing education to rural areas?
Tout ce que je suis devenu, c'est vraiment cette éducation que j'ai reçue à la base. Et je pense que si moi je peux accéder à cette éducation, tous les enfants du monde doivent avoir accès à ça aussi.
如果全世界一起合作，打造一个共享的网络空间，那么所有人都能够参与数字经济。
¿Qué tal si en el mundo nos escucháramos?
When we bring our minds together, those ideas become innovation.
I think my only what if, out of many what ifs, would be what if every young person was empowered to reach their full potential?
What if the world was a more secure place for young people like me?
Мы все в этом мире бременные. Y у нас есть путь выбрать.
Cuando digo que hace falta solidaridad entre países, también es solidaridad entre las personas.
What if all the nations understand that we are so powerful? We should be the instrument of peace. We should be the peace.
What if leaders and communities would understand that they should use dialogue and not conflict to address their differences?
Si c'est possible.
Do I think this is possible? Yes, because I'm an optimist.
I'm an optimist.
We need your opinions, your strategies, your ideas for us to be able to deliver better for the people of the world that we must serve.
We can change this game.
It is absolutely essential that you all join the conversation.
Everybody has to contribute. We don't have an option.
Everybody needs to talk. We need to come together.
What would the world be like?
There are 30 million young Filipinos today. When they are empowered, they can create a prosperous and sustainable future for humanity. How? Let's focus on just one girl. Let's call her Nina. Nina can fulfill her dreams if we give her the power to shape her own future. She can be an inspiring leader, a productive worker, an innovator, a caring parent, or a key person in her community. But without proper support and access to opportunities, her future will be at stake. That is why the United Nations Population Fund is supporting the conduct of a 15-year study that will follow a group of 5,000 10-year-old girls and boys from all over the Philippines. We want to learn the changing needs of Filipino youth like Nina for the next 1.5 decades so we can give them access to the best solutions. Because what the world will look like in 15 years depends on our power to unlock the potential of a 10-year-old today. Will you let their future slip away?
Mag-ingat.
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 Hindi lang COVID-19 ang virus na nilalabanan natin ngayon.
Hindi lang iisang virus.
Human immunodeficiency virus.
May COVID-19 man o wala, people are still having sex.
Kung walang proteksyon, maaaring tumaas ang panganib para sa ating mga Pilipino na makakuha ng HIV.
Kasama na dito ang mga kabataang babae.
Mga kabataang men having sex with men or MSM.
Mga buntis.
At mga survivors ng sexual na karahasan.
Stay protected. Education is prevention.
Mahalagang alamin ang mga paraan kung paano maiiwasan ang HIV sa panahon ng COVID-19.
Kahit may pandemya, importanteng abot kamay sa lahat ng Pilipino ang mga serbisyo at programa na patungkol sa HIV.
Online man yan o digital, mga services na madaling puntahan o isang text o tawag lang.
Stay protected and safe. Alamin ang iyong HIV status.
Magpa-test.
Makipag-ugnayan sa mga health facilities.
Upang magkaroon ng access sa gamot, impormasyon, testing, and counseling.
Para sa mga sexually active, ang wastong paggamit ng kondom ay epektibong paraan para maiwasan ang sexually transmitted infections, HIV,
at hindi planadong pagbubuntis.
Alamin ang iyong status. Para sa mga buntis, regular na magpa-check up sa inyong midwife o doktor. Mahalaga rin na sa birthing clinic o ospital manganak para masiguradong mabantayan ang ligtas na kalagayan ni nanay at baby. Hinihikayat din ng mga nanay na magpa-HIV test para patuloy na mapangalagaan ang kalusugan ng mag-ina.
Sa mga kababaihan naman na nais magpuwang o nais umiwas muna sa pagbubuntis, alamin at pumili ng family planning method na hiyang sa iyo.
Makipag-ugnayan. Para sa mga survivors ng gender-based sexual violence, maaaring makakuha ng post-exposure prophylaxis or PEP mula sa mga Women and Children Protection Units para maiwasan ang pagkahawa ng HIV.
Sama-sama tayo. Alamin natin ang mga paraan kung paano maiwasan ang HIV sa panahon ng COVID-19.
Stay protected.
Education is prevention.
Mag-ingat.
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 Mag-ingat. Stay safe.
Hi, Mar!
Hello, Mars! And hello, mga kabayani. Tulad na ba ang mga bata?
Of course, dapat gising pa sila dahil ngayong gabi ay mapapag-usapan natin yung very, very important na topic, mga kapatid, no? So, how are you, Mami J?
I'm okay. Kayo naman dyan sa Manila, how are you, kapatid Araw?
Of course, nasa bahay pa rin, no? Pero kumusta dyan sa Cagayan de Oro City?
Well, staying safe, ika nga, ano ba Tagalog? Sa Bisaya pa, ayaw o kataranta kabala ka lang. Don't be scared, just be worried.
Yeah, ita-translate ko siya in Filipino. So, huwag ka daw kabahan. At ano yung sabi mo kanina?
Huwag kang matakot, kabahan ka.
Huwag kang matakot. Ayan. Ang hirap mag-translate talaga. But anyway, mga kabayani, welcome sa ating Quarantok episode 12. Alam ko, sobrang na-miss nyo kami. Dahil alam mo ba kapatid, yung ating Quarantok ay ginawa natin ito during the Enhanced Community Quarantine at nagkaroon tayo ng 11 episodes ng mga nakaraan. At right now, gaya ng pinangako natin, ay magbabalik tayo dito sa ating
our 12th episode.
Yes, ang ating episode 12. So magpapakilala tayo kapatid. Simulan na natin. Go ahead, Mami J.
Oh yes! Hello po mga kapatid. Ako po pala si Mommy J, all the way from the city of Golden Friendship, Cagayan de Oro City. And I'm also a proud member of White Ear Pilipinas and Lakadili Advocates Pilipinas. And ano ba to? Kailangan nagkasabihan. Nagsasabi. Mag-iwan ako sa kasabihang, the youth of today, come what may, will always see the future of tomorrow.
Wow, very pang beauty queen naman. Sobrang na-pressured ako nun ha. Sige, magpapakilala din ako. So magandang gabi sa lahat ng mga nanonood right now. No? Ako pala si Ralph Ivan Samson. You can call me Kuya Ralph from White Ear Pilipinas. At mag-iwan din sa kasabihan na never doubt that the small group can change the world. Kaya naman, Mami J?
True, so true. Yes, because ika nga, simple things from the start, kung ikaw lang yung gagawa, would make a big impact if you do it with heart.
Ayan. So, batiin din natin ang mga lahat.
Naman yung yung
sa lahat ng mga nanonood natin right now, no, from different parts of the country, kasi naka-live tayo mga kapatid sa Facebook page ng DepEd Philippines and of course UNFPA and White Ear Pilipinas. At meron tayong around 68,000 viewers right now. So batiin lang natin yung mga kapatid natin, sila Nicaragua dyan sa Bicol Province. At Bicol Region, meron din tayo from Quezon City, meron din tayo all the way from Ilocos Sur. How about the other viewers natin?
And we also have viewers from Cotabato, proud Mindanaoans.
Yes. And of course, we also have member organizations from Abra, no? In Cordillera Administrative Region. At marami pang ibang mga nanonood sa atin. Baka may mga teachers din tayo from Department of Education. Kaya Mami J?
Yes, as we all know, the pandemic is still here. And siguro each and every areas here in the Philippines may kanya-kanya naman tayong updates with regards to our status ba?
Yeah.
Kung ano ba tayo ngayon, MGCQ, ECQ, GCQ. So dyan ba sa Manila, are you still on GCQ?
Yeah, naka-GCQ pa rin kami, no? At saka may mga isolated lockdowns lang ng mga barangay na meron mga positive cases.
And well, it's the same here in Cagayan de Oro City. Kaso lang, we are already on modified general community quarantine, and the city is already unrestricted. So, ika nga city of Golden Friendship, everyone is welcome to come here already. Pero same old kasi we also have restricted isolated areas sa mga barangays na may mga COVID cases din.
Yeah.
And however, kapatid Lara, despite the existing challenges such as the COVID-19 and the recent typhoons na nangyayari, White Ear Pilipinas kasama ang United Nations Population Fund or UNFPA Philippines have developed different programs and innovative strategies to really ensure that the adolescents and young people still have access to services including correct information on SRHR, which includes HIV.
Yes, and it is during this time of the pandemic ang mas kailangan pa nating i-further strengthen the participation of adolescent and young persons, map their full potential and active engagement in a matters affect their lives, no? So very important yung ating meaningful youth participation. At dahil naniniwala tayo sa YP Pilipinas na sa panahon ng humanitarian crisis, mas nagiging issue ang access to resources and social inequality.
Yes, true to life talaga. At dahil dyan, kami ay nagbabalik para sa ating hashtag Quarantalk Episode 12 at pag-uusapan natin ang HIV sa panahon ng COVID-19 at ano-ano ang mga naranasan challenges ng mga young key affected populations and young people living with HIV.
Yes, and we will try. Actually, may kasama talaga si Mami J na isang young person na magiging host natin. But we will try if ever makaka-connect ba si Kyla right now. Kyla, are you still there?
Hello po!
Ayan, hello Kyla. How are you?
I'm okay naman po. At least nakakonect na po ako sa Wi-Fi.
Ayan, si Kyla, si kapatid na Kyla. Good thing naman.
Yes. Go ahead, Kyla. Do you have any,
Yes po. Okay, so ang dami pala talagang maabot ng program na to, Mommy J,
Mami J, parang may may tech issues, parang may something na audio, something. I don't know if baka sa monitor natin, baka hinaan natin yung monitor natin. Yeah. Ayan. Medyo may challenge lang talaga tayo when it comes to internet connection, no? Pero laban. Yes. At Kyla, how are you naman? Saan ka ngayon?
Okay na po. At least nakakonect na po ako sa internet. Nag-gather na lang po ako ng composure. At curious ako, Mommy J. What do you mean po by young key affected populations po? Nung nag-watch po ako ng stream, hindi po ako makakonect.
Ayun. Kyla, ikaw yung young key population actually.
Ayun.
Identify natin yung young key population para sa lahat ng makaintindi. Good question, ha? In line and in context of HIV program, according to the Global Fund to fight AIDS, TB, and malaria, key affected population are those who are most likely to be exposed to HIV or at risk of getting infected with HIV, including the different identities of adolescents and young people, gaya ng mga MSM or the males who have sex with other males or men who have sex with other men, the young transgender people, yung mga fresh and mga batang version ko, ganon. And kasali na din yung young people who engage in sex work, also the young people who inject drugs, the young people who are in prison or deprived of liberty, and those young persons living with HIV. Yun po ang ating key affected population.
Wow, ang dami pala talagang maaabot ng programang ito, no, Mommy J?
True to life kayo. Bisaya na. True to life talaga, Kyla. Kaya naman we have invited experts tonight as our guest speakers para mas maintindihan natin kung ano ang kasalukuyang sitwasyon ng HIV sa bansa.
Kaya naman tawagin na natin ang ating unang bisita ngayong gabi. Walang iba kundi si Dr. Loyd Brendan Norella.
Ayun. As for everybody's information, Dr. Loyd Brendan Norella is the Chief of Party of the Global Fund HIV Grant in the Philippines with Save the Children as principal recipient. And Dr. Norella has more than 20 years experience in HIV advocacy and program management in local and international settings.
Virtual clap naman, mga kapatid!
Ayan.
Hello,
Dr. Hello po!
Ayan, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Nagsuot ako ng makulay na damit kasi alam ko mapapaligiran ako ng mga fresh and young people. So, Oo, thank you for inviting me. Nakakatuwang makita na may mga kasama tayo as far north as Ilocos and as far south as Marawi. Siguro meron pang mas northern and southern parts that will be joining us later. So marami pong salamat and hopefully we will be enjoying what we will be learning this evening.
Yes.
Doc, magkusa na po kayo dyan.
Okay lang, ito nagpapahaba ng buhok kasi sabi ko hindi ako magpapagupit hanggat walang vaccine sa COVID. So mukhang by next year makakapagpagupit na ako. Hopefully.
Baka longirada ka na next year, Doc Loyd, ha?
Oo nga, pwede na. Oo.
Baka pag magkita tayo next year, Doc Loyd, ka-level na tayo ng hair.
Why not?
Go, Kayla.
Doc Loyd, bilang isang bagong youth volunteer po who is very much interested po to know more about the HIV advocacy po, can you share po with us the existing HIV landscape in the Philippines and the existing challenges during COVID-19?
Ayan. So, thank you, Kyla. Napaka-importante na malaman natin yung sagot yan sa inyong tanong kasi it all starts with education. So I really am very happy that we have this opportunity to discuss this topic. So may isi-share ako kailan ng mga slides na medyo marami siya pero bibilisan lang natin and ito yung sagot sa inyong tanong and I'm sure marami rin mga gustong makaalam ng mga sagutan. Ano ba ang HIV landscape natin sa Pilipinas at ano yung role na magagawa ng mga young people katulad ni Kyla at yung mga kasama natin ngayon. Sige, punta na tayo sa next slide. Okay, so ang gagawin natin ay pag-uusapan natin ang sitwasyon ng HIV dito sa ating bansa at kung anong magagawa ng mga young people, yung mga kabataan sa pag-address at pag-end ng HIV epidemic sa Pilipinas. Sunod po. Yan. Okay, next. Ayan. So nakikita natin dito na ang Pilipinas ay may mataas na pag-akyat ng HIV sa bawat taon. Kung kukumpara mo from year 2000 to 2015, may nakikita tayo na 207% increase. At nakikita din natin sa kabilang slide na 338% ang pagdami ng mga namamatay sa HIV. Okay? Next slide. Ito, makikita natin na magmula nung 2 tao bawat isang araw nung 2008, nagkaroon ng 13 new cases diagnosed per day ng 2013, dumamin pa ng 22 nung 2015 at nung 2018 meron na tayong 32 cases na na-identify bawat araw. Okay? Sunod. Ang estimate natin ngayon sa taon na ito ay magkakaroon na tayo ng total na 111,400 na mga kaso na naitala ng HIV sa Pilipinas. Okay? Next. Sunod po. Okay? Next. Ayan. So nakikita natin dito sa graph, pataas ng pataas yung ating mga cases. And then dito sa susunod natin na slide, makikita natin na yung data natin sa 2017. Okay, tuloy po. Next slide. Noong 2017, makikita natin na ang kabataan, yung 15 to 24 years old, ay isa sa pinaka-naapektuhan ng HIV. Pinakamarami pa rin yung 25 to 34 years old. Pero kung ikukumpara natin in terms of age, yung ages 15 to 34, yun na yung reproductive age na madalas nagkakaroon ng HIV. Tapos ikumpara din natin sa type ng transmission. Ang madalas na transmission according to our data would be male to male sex, tapos meron ding male to female sex. Pero karamihan ng mga transmission ng HIV sa Pilipinas ay nangyayari between or among male having sex with male. Next slide. Ayan. So itong data lang ito pinapakita yung estimated number of new infections every year. So nakikita natin dito sa taong ito, sa 2020, ang estimate natin may 16,800 new cases na madadocument. At kung i-divide natin ito ng 365 days, tumaas na ang number of cases natin per day from around 32 to 36 in the past years. Maaring maging 46 new cases per day na sa 2020. At kung hindi natin ito mapipigilan, mas lalo pang tataas ang number of HIV infections every year. So pwede itong tumaas ng 22,700,000. So napaka-importante talaga na ang mga kabataan katulad ninyo ay mas marami pang kaalaman tungkol sa HIV/AIDS at para ma-address ang issue ng prevention and other related topics. Next slide. Ayan. So ano ba yung mga madalas na issue natin nakikita ngayon sa Pilipinas? May mga documentation na dumadami ang drug use, may gender-based violence, meron ding increase in teenage pregnancy. Overall, tumataas din yung number of cases ng HIV natin every year. Next slide. Okay, so sinasabi ko kanina na almost half of new HIV infections are among young people who are 15 to 24 years old. So ang age group na 15 to around 34, sila talaga ang pinaka naapektuhan ng HIV in terms of new cases diagnosed every year. Okay? Kaya kailangan yung mga kabataan ay mag-iingat. So in terms of those that are from 10 to 24 years old, may increase ng 1,761% since 2010. So nakikita natin yung number of cases every year, dumadami talaga ng dumadami. So i-compare mo through time. Okay, next slide. So nabanggit kanina yung mga key affected population. So ang key affected populations, ito yung mga grupo ng mga tao na mas mataas ang tsansa na magkaroon o magkahawaan ng HIV. So among the key affected populations are men who have sex with men. Next slide. Transgender women. Sunod po. Young key populations between ages 13 to 19 years old, and then people who inject drugs. So disproportionately, mas mataas ang rate ng HIV. So ito yung mga slide na ito, pinapakita lang dito na marami pa rin ang hindi nakakaalam ng kanilang HIV status. Roughly around 30% of those who are estimated to be HIV positive in the Philippines still do not know about their status kasi hindi pa sila natitest. Meron ding mga natitest na pero hindi pa rin nagsisimula ng antiretroviral therapy or yung gamot na iniinom para mapigilan ang pag-increase ng virus sa katawan, and then yung virally suppressed, konti pa lang ang nakakakuha ng viral load test. Next slide. Ayan. So dito sa Philippines, so as of June 2020, may na-estimate tayo na around 8,000 young key populations may already have HIV but still do not know their status. So very important po, especially if you have risk, na mag-access ng testing para malaman natin yung status natin, at kung positive man, ay immediately ma-start tayo sa treatment para hindi lumala yung sakit at para hindi tayo magkaroon ng tinatawag na AIDS. Okay, next slide. Ayan. Ang isa sa mga usual na encounter natin is marami pa rin mga kabataan ang hindi nakapagbili ng sarili nilang condoms or naka-access ng condoms. Kasama na dito yung mga MSM youth as well as yung mga transgender young people. Okay, so may mga challenges pa rin in terms of young people getting access to prevention, treatment, and related services. Sa HIV infection sa mother to child, mababa pa rin siya relatively, pero kung mapapansin natin, unti-unti rin siyang tumataas. Pero ang karamihan pa rin ng transmission happens between or among those that are around the 15 to 34 years old group. Okay, next slide. Sinasabi dito sa slide na ito that what happens to the HIV epidemic in the country relies on how we act today. So kung hindi tayo gagawa pa ng mas karagdagang mga aksyon. Maaring yung bar ng graph natin in terms of number of cases yung nasa pula. Kung dadamihan pa natin ang mga matitreat, maaring bumaba sa bar na kulay blue. At pag pinagsama ang ating mga prevention and other interventions, maaring bumaba ang ating rates ng HIV sa Philippines. So, importante talaga na mas marami pang tao ang matest, mas marami mga HIV positive ang ma-start on treatment and so on. Why is HIV infection high among the youth? Ayan, magandang tanong ito dahil it's very interesting, no? So, nakikita natin dito na risky behavior start early but protective behavior start late. Okay. So, ang mga bilog na ito ay nagpapakita kung saan nagsimulang nakikipag-sex ang mga tao at kung kailan sila unang nag-access ng condom. So anyway, ang learning lang dito sa slide na ito, usually may lag ng around 3 to 5 years ng first start of sex to the first time na gumamit ng condom. So yun yung parang period kung saan maaring sexually active na ang isang member ng young population pero hindi pa na-access yung kanyang mga commodities katulad ng condom para hindi siya mahawaan ng HIV. So ang take-home message lang natin dito is madalas ang unang pakikipagtalik ay nangyayari ng walang condom at then it will take anywhere from 3 to 5 years bago matuto yung young person para mag-regularly start ng condom. Very few young people are also empowered with knowledge, skills, and capability to protect themselves from HIV. So ito yung mga numbers na ito nakikita natin. Ideally, dapat mataas ito. So 29% lang daw ang may alam ng correct knowledge on HIV transmission and prevention concepts and so on. So importante pa rin talaga na palawakin natin ng impormasyon tungkol sa HIV dahil kulang pa rin ang nakikita natin sa datos. Kailangan pa ng mas maraming edukasyon at mas maraming kabataan ng ating maabot. Susunod. Okay. Meron pa rin syempre na stigma and discrimination which of course affects young people, nahihiyang magpa-test and so on. And then syempre kapag nag-diagnose ng HIV, nagiging person living with HIV na siya, mas lalong lumalala pa ang experience ng stigma and discrimination. Okay? And this affects the access to treatment, testing, and related services. So sa slide na ito, sinasabi niya na people living with HIV still experience stigma and discrimination in the country. 7 out of 10 surveyed in the 2017 NDHS survey hold discriminatory attitudes towards people living with HIV. So ito rin ang kailangan nating pagtuunan ng pansin upang mawala or mabawasan ang stigma and discrimination laban sa or against people who are living with HIV. Next slide. Okay. So ito lang po nagsa-summarize na bakit tumataas pa rin ang kaso ng HIV sa bansa. Konti ang kaalaman, konti ang gumagamit ng condoms, tapos may mga batas na naglilimit ng pag-access ng condom and other related commodities for protection. Konti lang ang nagpa-participate sa private sector, kulang pa tayo ng mga safe spaces and adolescent-friendly health facilities. So marami pa pong kailangan gawin, marami pang kailangang alamin tungkol sa HIV. So ano ba yung HIV? Next slide. Ayan. Ito mga take-home messages lang tayo kasi pwede naman tayong pumunta sa Google, sa YouTube, and so on, kung mausap sa ating mga health centers, sa ating mga community-based organization para makakuha ng mas dagdag pang kaalaman tungkol sa HIV. Pero gusto ko lang pong i-share sa inyo na yung mga take-home messages, you cannot tell if a person has HIV by merely looking at him or her. Hindi po natin malalaman kung may HIV ang isang tao. The only way to find out is for the person to get HIV testing. Next slide. Ayan. So, HIV is the virus that attacks and destroys the body's immune system. Next. Iba po ang AIDS sa HIV. Ang AIDS could lead to death. It is already later stage condition wherein a person with HIV wherein the immune system is already weak or destroyed and the body can no longer fight off common infection. So ang tao po na may HIV ay tinatawag nating people living with HIV but not necessarily a person with AIDS kasi it usually takes around 3 to 7 years before the virus becomes too much and then the patient develops the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, next slide. Okay, continue. Okay, take home message, hindi ang AIDS po ay kinukos ng HIV pero hindi porket HIV positive ang isang tao ay AIDS na ang kanyang condition. But kung papabayaan po ang HIV status, hindi magti-treatment in around 3 to 7 years, maaring mag-develop ng AIDS dahil babagsak ang immune system at kakapitan ng mga opportunistic infection at iba pang sakit. So, continue. Okay, tuloy lang po. Ayan. So, para maprotektahan ng ating sarili at mapigil ang paglaganap pa ng HIV and AIDS, kailangan ng early HIV testing, early initiation of treatment, and then if you are HIV positive, of course, to adhere to your treatment. As of now po, HIV has no cure, pero may treatment po tayo na pwedeng tinitake para ang HIV sa inyong katawan ay hindi dumami at hindi magkaroon ng kondisyon na tinatawag na AIDS, kung saan ang katawan ay hindi na kayang labanan ang mga impeksyon. Okay, next slide. So, is there a cure for HIV? Next slide. Nasabi ko po kanina na walang cure. There is still no cure for HIV. Wala pa rin pong vaccine, but there is an effective treatment. And the good news po ngayon is marami ng mga available treatment options. Ang treatment po for HIV are already free. Pwede siyang ma-access sa mga social hygiene clinic, government facilities, even sa mga community-based organizations. Okay? Libre lang po yan. And then, hindi po katulad nung time na ang dami-daming gamot na kailangang inumin. Ngayon, isang gamot na lang. Madalas iniinom kasi yung tatlong mahalagang ingredients nandoon na. So, ang tawag po sa gamot na yan ay antiretroviral therapy. Next slide. Okay, continue lang. Next. Ayan. So para po ma-prevent ating HIV, tandaan yung ABCDE. A is for abstinence. May Tagalog ito eh. Ako at ikaw lamang. Tama? Tama ba? Or ayaw ko muna, abstinence. B is be mutually faithful. Tayong dalawa lang. Basta ikaw at ako lang. Letter C, correct and consistent condom use. Condom ay gamitin ng tama at palagi. Letter D, don't drink alcohol, don't use drugs, and don't share needles. Dapat pag iniksyon, laging bago. And E, education, early diagnosis, and treatment. So nakakatuwa po na marami tayong mga kabataan ngayon na parte ng programang ito dahil this is a very good way to start knowledge on HIV prevention and then to lessen our increase in HIV infections. Okay, next slide. Ayan, so marami na po tayong mga programs and services na available. Gumagawa po tayo sa Global Fund, sa local government units, sa Department of Health, ating mga community-based organizations. Meron po tayong peer education. Gumagawa rin tayo ng HIV counseling and testing. Kung kinakailangan, merong treatment. Libre po yung mga antiretroviral drugs para sa mga PLHIVs. And then covered na rin po ng PhilHealth ang outpatient HIV benefit package. So, wag po kayong matakot na magpa-HIV test dahil kapag nag-positive man, if ever that happens, marami pong mga services that are available and treatment is free. Okay, next slide. Continue. Ayan. Next slide. Okay. So to halt the epidemic, kailangan stronger pa yung involvement ng NGOs katulad ng YPeer. Importante na involved tayo, especially yung ating mga young persons. Empower local government communities. I-involve din natin yung mga schools and address, of course, policy issue, then stigma and discrimination, and intensify pa natin yung advocacy and activism natin on HIV. Next slide. Ayan. Meron na tayong pong bagong batas na tinatawag natin. Next slide. Na Republic Act 11166. Ito po ay pinirmahan noong 2018 na nagbibigay ng bagong mandate or fresh support to the HIV program in the Philippines. Ang isa po na pinaka magandang provisions dito sa Republic Act 11166 or the AIDS Law of 2018 ay binaba na po ang testing without parental consent from the previously 18 years old to 15 years old. So if you are 15 years old and above, you can already access testing at the social hygiene clinic or sa anumang facility even without parental consent. Doc, paano kapag ang client ay at risk, halimbawa 13 years old, pero may STI na siya at kailangan niya pa-HIV test? Meron din po tayong mechanism kung saan pwedeng magbigay ng proxy consent na tinatawag. Ang mas mababa sa 15 years old ay pwedeng maasistahan ng social worker, ng health facility, yung mga physicians, and so on. Okay, basta po lumapit lang kayo sa mga service providers natin that can give you proper guidance. Okay, next slide po. So in summary, ayan, malapit na po matapos. Tandaan po natin that HIV infection is a successful entry of HIV in the body. HIV and AIDS are not the same. HIV infection is lifetime. Okay, ang nakikita natin, natutunan natin kanina, parami yung mga new cases natin per day, di ba? As of 2017, 2018, mga 32 to 36 cases. Ang estimate ngayon, mga 38 to even as high as 46 per day. Wala pa tayong vaccine to prevent HIV, but HIV is preventable through the proper use of condom, yung ABCDE na natutunan natin kanina. There is no cure, but there is an effective treatment, and the treatment is free. And of course, early testing, early initiation of treatment, and adherence to your treatment is important to ensure that you will not get sick of AIDS if you are HIV positive. And life does not stop after HIV. Okay? Next slide pa. So before we learned that in around 2017, 2018, we have 32 new infections per day. This is estimated to be going up. And we really need the help and voices of young people like you, your commitment to be part of the solution, okay, to prevent further HIV infections in the country. So how to do that? Treat early, test early, treat early so that you can live more healthy lives. So next slide. So with that po, maraming salamat and hopefully may natutunan tayo sa ating discussion this evening. Thank you po.
Ayan, so thank you po, Doc Loyd, for that very informative presentation na binigyan niyo po sa amin tonight. And we would like to request you to please stay in our holding area para sa question and answer portion later on.
Okay, sige. Thank you. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig.
Alam mo, Mommy J, bilang baguhan sa HIV advocacy, na-realize ko na we really have to work together to further reach the young affected population at para ma-ensure na rin na meron silang right and correct information on how to protect themselves from getting infected.
I know, right, Kyla? Kasi alam mo naman, dahil even during humanitarian crisis, like sa pandemic din ngayon, people are still having sex and undeniably nangyayari talaga yan ngayon. And it's very normal naman talaga dahil bahagi yan ng ating physiological needs. Sabi nga ni Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Kaya naman, Mommy J, bilang isang youth volunteer, I am so excited sa next natin na guest speaker. Dahil sa school namin, ang daming skills and talents ng classmates and orgmates namin na kayang ma-develop and ma-harness to educate my peers, especially the young key population.
Oy, so true talaga, Kyla, no? Lalong-lalo na ngayon. Parang very active na talaga tayo sa social media. Tapos lalong naging active tayo because of the pandemic. Kaya ang only means or most means natin for communication and other things is through social media. And lalong-lalo na marami tayong mga social media influencers. Diba? Kagaya ng TikTok, yung mga mga ganon. May YouTube din tayo, may Twitter, may Facebook, and may Instagram.
At dahil dyan, we would like to introduce our next speaker.
Yan. So mga kapatid, let us welcome Mr. Wanggo Gallaga. He is a screenwriter and a film educator, teaching screenwriting and film criticism at the film department of College of Saint Benilde. As a screenwriter, he has written the films Sonata in 2013, also Tiyanak in 2014, and co-writer of the movie Open in 2019, as well as being one of the writers of the web series Hanging Out during the years 2016 to 2017. And as a film critic, he is the resident film critic of clickthecity.com. And he is also an HIV advocate and has been public about his HIV status since 2008.
At dahil dyan, virtual clap naman mga kapatid.
Hi everyone, salamat.
Hello po, Mr. Wang.
Hello
Good
po.
evening, how are you?
Hello, salamat. Nice to be here. Thank you for having this kind of parang webinar and show. Kasi I've been in the advocacy for 12 years now, ever since I became public with my HIV status noong 2008. Ang dami ko na rin nakita, ang dami ko na rin nadaanan in terms of the advocacy, and nakita mo naman yung slides ni Doc. Pataas ng pataas parati yung cases. So we need to get more people informed, we need to get more people involved and engaged sa information about HIV prevention kasi nandito siya eh. It's real eh. And I've talked to people na destroy yung lives nila, na destroy yung they lost their jobs, they were kicked out of the family, they had to move because of discrimination and stigma. So we really need to educate more people. And I'm so happy to hear that we have over 60,000 viewers. Tama ba yung narinig ko kanina?
Yes.
That's a lot of people.
Po.
Yeah, this is the way to go. Hello.
So, may mga tanong for you tonight. And
yes,
let's start off with the question: when did you start advocating HIV awareness, and why did you decide to be an advocate for HIV awareness?
Well, to be honest, I became an advocate to be an HIV awareness advocate in 2008 nung nalaman ko HIV positive ako. Before 2008, before I took the test, wala akong alam about HIV except for what I saw in movies. Alam mo yun? Hindi ko iniisip na magkakaroon ako ng HIV, hindi ko iniisip na may makikilala akong may HIV. Kasi based on yung alam natin about HIV, I mean, nung back in 2008, wala masyadong kilala, hindi pinag-uusapan ng HIV sa Pilipinas. Back in 2008, yung mga kilala lang namin na meron HIV is Dosuro Cortez and Sarah Jane Salazar, right? I think, yes. And so, and saka yung mga situations nila, I think it was through sex work and overseas foreign worker, etc. So, hindi natin iniisip na nandito sa Pinas. Then, 1 year, in 2008, every month I was getting sick. I had an ear infection in January, tonsillitis in February. I had, pneumonia in April. I had, hanggang May yun, bumalik yung ear infection nung bronchitis in July. So naisip ko, okay, I have to have myself tested. Then when I had myself tested, hindi ko inisip na magkakaroon ako ng positive result. Kasi ginawa ko lang yan dahil, alam mo yun, parang iba na to eh. Nagkakasakit na ako every week. Hindi ako yung tipo ng tao na nagkakasakit parate. Ayun nga, HIV positive nga ako. So, afterwards, I went to the hospital for meningitis. Buntik na akong namatay. And then, pero buti na lang nasakit yung buhay ko. And then, we started to, and then when I told my friends about it, that was when I found, a friend of mine said he wanted to put up an HIV exhibit using photographs and an exhibit on it. And he asked me if I wanted to be a part of the exhibit as an HIV person, as a person who's public about his status. So I did. I said yes. And from then on, I became part na ng advocacy. As one of the people who is public about my HIV status. Syempre, pumunta na ako sa mga talks katulad nito. I went on the news. I wrote articles about it para lang maging aware yung mga tao that HIV is here. You can get it if you're doing risky behavior. You just have to protect yourself. Yun lang.
So, Direk, I'm very curious why did you use filmmaking as a platform for your advocacy? I'm really interested in that.
Oh, well, kasi you have to understand, yung media kasi ang lakas ng ability ng media to create reality eh. Sinasabi natin like media, all kinds of media, television, movies, kahit mga paintings, etc. Lahat yon nare-reflect yung society natin. Kung ano nakikita mo sa TV, sa movie, nare-reflect niya kung ano nangyayari sa society ngayon, sa lipunan. Pero meron din yung nangyayari. Pag napaka-popular ang movies or napaka-popular yung TV show, it creates its own reality. Isipin mo na lang, for example, yung mga That Thing Called Tadhana, sobrang popular yung movie na yun, no? Dahil naging popular yung movie na yun, lahat ng tao biglang pumupunta na ng Mount Pulag. Gusto na nila makita yung view na nakita doon, diba?
Ma-experience personally.
Exactly, oo. Then isipin mo naman yung I'm Drunk, I Love You. Sobrang naging popular din yan. Biglang lahat ng tao pumupunta sa La Union. Pag may weekend, nagda-day trip na lang, kukuha na lang ng bus, nandun. You think about all our Mistress movies. Lahat ng mga movies natin, No Other Woman, The Mistress, lahat yan. And then biglang nakikita mo sa Twitter, pinag-uusapan ng cheating. As if it was like yung cheating has been happening for so long. But now, because naging popular, nagiging discussion point ng mga tao, everyone's talking about it. So, syempre, now mas malaki yung galit ng mga tao about cheating. And then you have movies like, for example, Die Beautiful. Movies like Quick Change, Mamu and a Mother Too, where it talks about the trans lives, trans experiences, etc. And nagiging discussion point, hindi na sila invisible. Hindi na sila, pwede na natin pag-usapan. So, movies and television is one of the best ways with which we can really change and create a reality. We can show people how real HIV is, how people live their lives because of HIV, how they're affected by it. Napakaganda ng way ang HIV to affect the society.
And Sir Wanggo, my question lang ako, how was your experience when you first tried and up until now incorporating both your passion in the HIV advocacy and on filmmaking?
Well, actually nakakatawa siya because the first ever full-length feature na nasulat ko is an independent film called HIV. Si Heidi, si Ivy, at si V. And sobrang if you watch that movie, kung makakahanap kayo ng kopya, I'm hoping na hindi kasi makikita mo talaga napaka-inexperience ko, yung parang napaka-amateur ko pa rin. As in, first movie ko pa, nakikita mo lahat ng mga mistakes ko as a beginning writer, as a first-time writer for a full-length feature. So medyo nakakahiya siya ng konti. But I thought that it was powerful to finally be able to talk about HIV in a way na hindi, yung nakaka-inspire. The movie kasi is about a documentary filmmaker who's interviewing people about HIV and yung struggles niya to get them to admit that they have HIV in front of the camera. And the thing about it is that before that, yung lahat ng mga pelikula na alam natin nung 90s, nung early 2000s, lahat ng movies about HIV, laging namamatay yung tao with HIV at the end. Diba
nakakadismaya.
Pero medyo sad talaga parati yung ending.
Diba?
Walang hope.
Oo, napaka-drama, laging umiiyak. And yung kailangan importante kasi if media creates reality, yung society is reflected in art. But art can also create reality. Kung yan lagi nakikita mo, yan lagi ang iniisip ng mga tao. So, it was nice for me to be able to be part of something where hindi lagi namamatay yung taong may HIV sa end. Sorry, spoiler na lang ha, pero feeling ko hindi niyo naman makahanap yung copy ng film na yun eh. And
Hahanapin talaga namin yun.
Totoo. We're really excited to watch.
But you know what? There are better movies now that have come out na hindi talaga laging namamatay through HIV, and I think that's really important. I remember there was a TV show sa TV5, yung Positive, with Martin Escudero. About the people who are HIV positive na hindi namatay yung main character sa huli. So, napaka-uplifting, etc. And that's why I'm super excited na yung Kal-El 15 will be available on Netflix on Wednesday. Starting Wednesday, yung Kal-El 15. I heard it's a really good movie. And it's a movie about HIV. And I want to watch it kasi gusto ko makita yung mga bagong na lumalabas because of HIV.
Yes po. Meron po akong additional question for the youth din this time. What can you advise for the youth that wants to use their skills to pursue HIV advocacy po? What are your advice for the youth?
Yung advice ko lang naman talaga for the youth is to always keep yourself informed and then make sure that you, alam mo, you don't even have to use your skills eh. Hindi na kailangan ng mga malalaking ways. All you have to do is to be unafraid to talk about these things to the people around you. You talk about HIV to your friends, etc., and you just ask them. Kasi when we do talks like this, we cannot talk to people individually at tanungin nila, are you guys practicing safe? Do you know about your sexual rights, your reproductive rights, etc.? Hindi natin ma-reach lahat ng mga tao. But for all of the people who are watching now, you have the information, you've been educated. So I think it's important for you to go up to your friends and have these conversations kasi yung problema natin, we're not having these conversations. Takot pa rin tayong mag-usap about HIV. I think one of the things when I became public about my HIV status, hinahanap talaga ako sa Facebook, sa social media ko. Gagawa sila ng account para lang magtanong sa akin ng mga tanong about HIV. Yung naiisip ko about this, bakit nila ako tatanungin dahil may HIV ako? Ba't hindi sila nagtatanong sa doktor? Ba't hindi sila nagtatanong sa teacher? Ba't hindi sila nagtatanong sa... Bakit isang stranger na hindi nila kilala? Tapos ako talaga, that means nahihiya pa tayo to ask. And I don't think, and that's not a situation that we should be asking questions. We should not be afraid to ask questions because asking questions means we want to know more. Hindi nakakahiya na wala kang alam. I think what's really important is that you ask questions na gusto mong matuto. I think that's the attitude that we have. It's okay to say that I don't know. I think it's more important for us to say that, and then that's why we have to go and talk to our friends. Kasi mas kilala mo sila, mas kilala mo yung approach na pwede mong i-take. Kasi I'm sure there are a lot of young people who know that their friends are having casual sex. And that's perfectly fine. But for me, anyway, sa tingin ko, I mean, if they want to explore, that's fine. But I think what's important is that you have to ask your friends, hey, are you using protection? Hey, kilala mo ba yung taong yan? You're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. If you say no, will that person stop? Alam mo yon, yung consent kasi very, very important. Hindi natin alam yan eh. Especially for young people, we don't know that it's okay to say no. There are situations na nagmamomol kayo, you meet someone, medyo attracted kayo to each other, normal, make out lang. And then they want to bring it somewhere else. At feeling mo, you don't have a right to say no kasi you have a right to say no. And then, for example, you want to have sex with a person, pero that person doesn't want to use a condom. You have the right to say no. No condom, no sex. We don't know these things, and we have to talk about them so that it becomes normal. It becomes normal for people to have themselves tested. It becomes normal for people to talk about these things kasi dun lumalabas yung abuse eh. At dun lumalabas yung exploitation. Pag hindi natin pinag-uusapan, tinatago natin kasi nahihiya tayo. Tao tayo eh. And as long as you talk to it about with your friends will protect you. Your friends should protect you. If your friends don't protect you, they're not your friends.
True.
They should be able to tell you the truth. Yes,
because we all have that special circle talaga of friends where you can share anything,
diba?
Yes, and you are very comfortable talking to them, sharing secrets, and asking for advices.
Oo.
This,
So imagine if over 60,000 people right now, if all of them just had a conversation with all of their friends, just opening up that topic, that's 60,000 times 5. Ang laki na nun. And then if those people start asking another set of friends, mas mabilis mag-pass on ng information. So I think that's really powerful when you think about it in that way. Ang laki-laki ng circle if we just keep talking about it in an educated and mature manner.
True. And I think this is especially true for the youth right now because in our generation, we need to be more informed and more open to have these conversations and talks with our loved ones, and especially to those that are not as informed as we are. And I'm very appreciative of this webinar because this provides us for the opportunity to do just that.
It's so true kasi marami tayong mga audience na maybe they are just very interested to watch but some of them are really not informed well on HIV and AIDS prevention, how you would be engaged in such activities for you to be able to join the advocacy, diba? So this series of webinars are a very good platform for each and every one of us to show to the world and to the universe on how to do advocacy and at the same time do our passion as well.
Yeah. I think it's very important talaga, and that yung boses galing sa inyo, galing sa mga bata. You know, because when somebody of your age is talking about it with confidence, with maturity, madadala yan eh. It becomes a big part of society. We normalize it. Yan yung importante. We normalize these things. Hindi na siya tago. Hindi na siya nakakahiya. Kasi normal na siya.
True. Kasi, diba, up until now, stigma and discrimination is still present. And it's undeniably there. So, we have, Sir Wang, we have one more question for you because the UNFPA Philippines, in partnership with the CHSI and YP Pilipinas, will be launching the Kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula. So, for you and for the youth who is watching tonight, what will be your advice or what is their first step as, I think, young film enthusiasts and filmmakers who wants to join the advocacy?
Well, I think if you're going to make a film about HIV, if you're going to make a film about anything, research is the most important thing in the world. To prepare your materials, etc. Hindi lang pwede na galing sa imagination. Imagination is very important, but I think it's also important to find out what it is you're writing a story about. And then also, write about it on a personal level. Ano yung personal na attachment mo sa kwento na yan? Ask yourselves, why do you want to write a story about HIV? Because, alam mo, sa filmmaking talaga, actually in all art, painting, etc., malalaman ng mga tao kung ginagawa mo lang yan dahil trending siya. Malalaman ng mga tao kung wala talaga yung puso mo sa subject na yon. So if you have no personal attachment to the subject matter, if you have no personal attachment to HIV, then you should be able to do research and find a personal attachment. Find a reason why you want to write about it. Kasi kung walang puso, kung wala dyan yung sorry, ang Tagalog ko is really bad. If your heart is not in it, makikita yan sa pelikula. So try to find out. I mean, baka hindi ka talaga, maybe for example, you're a straight person. Wala kang So why don't you start researching and finding out about straight people who have HIV? Kasi nangyayari talaga yan. People who are straight. There's a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of women who have HIV and they didn't know for a long time because hindi nila iniisip sa straight people yan. And then later on, they find out when they're pregnant. So when you think about it in that situation, yes, everybody is vulnerable. Think about how vulnerable you can be with HIV. It doesn't even have to be about HIV per se. It could be about risky behaviors that could lead to HIV. And that could be your entry point into the story. Hindi kailangan, it doesn't have to be about HIV directly. It doesn't have to be literal. Yan yung maganda kasi ng sa art. Hindi mo kailangan maging literal eh. As long as it's honest, as it's true, as long as it's authentic to your experience, pwede siyang maging about HIV at pwede siyang maging ano, because what's more important is to get people engaged. I think that's what's important. So do your research. Research is important. And mag-self-reflect ka, mag-evaluate ka, bakit mo itong gustong isulat. And if you don't have a clear answer for that, find one. Create one for yourself.
Find your why. Kung nasa nasabi nga, find your why of why you want to do it.
Like, if I can ask you, Kyla, as a young advocate, why did you get into the advocacy at your age?
Well, for starters po, I am part of the political science department of the University of Santo Tomas. So the social dimension of this phenomena is really interesting for me because it affects everything. It affects politics. It affects the people around us. So I think for me as a humanitarian, we need to step up. We need to talk about this because COVID-19 isn't the only pandemic that is happening. HIV is a pandemic. And this should not be put in the background just because there is COVID. We need to talk about this.
You have a personal attachment to that because you really care and think about society. And so you have an entry point. Meron ka ng mga maiisip na kwento about that, but coming from that experience. But if you're coming in na parang isusulat ko lang to kasi trendy siya ngayon. Kasi may contest, pwede akong sumali. Makikita yan eh, kung wala yung passion. The passion has to be there. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes po.
Ayun. So thank you so much, Sir Wanggo, sa tips and advice.
Thank you po.
Para sa ating mga kabataan na nais maging filmmaker just like you.
Kaya
I'm sorry?
Mami J, tawagin na natin muli si Dr. Loyd para sa ating Q&A portion.
Yes. So may mga series tayo of questions na i-entertain galing from our viewers. So we will be waiting for their comments below kung ano yung mga questions nila na ibibigay for our guests for tonight.
Okay, so the first question from our audience: what is the most challenging part of incorporating advocacy into film?
Okay. I think the most challenging part of merging the two, the most challenging part of incorporating is nakakatakot kasi minsan when you're passionate about something na hindi ka nagiging objective. Yung sobrang ganado ka at nagiging preachy ka eh. And you have to remember always na kapag kagawa ka ng pelikula, it has to be real. It has to be authentic. Hindi ka pwede mag-preach, etc. Kasi hindi naman nangyayari yan sa totoong buhay eh. There's so much information, there's so much passion na nakakalimutan mo minsan na may kwento muna. Yung characters muna yung dapat mabuhay, hindi yung message. Because for a film to be effective, the world of the film has to be real. And minsan kasi pag sobrang passionate ka about your advocacy, ang dami mong pinapasok na hindi baka masyadong daming information na. Yung information overload, ang dami nang pumapasok na hindi nababalanse ang pagkakwento niya. Art has to be a good mix of story, of style, and then of substance. Kasi kung substance lang at nawawala yung story, nawawala yung style, medyo nagiging boring siya, parang nagiging TED Talk na siya. At alam naman yung mga tao, pag gusto nila panood ng pelikula, gusto nila manood ng kwento na maganda yung pagkagawa. Kung puro information lang ang lumalabas, baka gusto nila manood ng documentary. So kailangan mo talaga balanse na story muna siya, may style na paggawa ng kwento, then dapat nandyan din, naka-incorporate na siya. So I think that's the most challenging part is to be able to hold back, to restrain lang from the advocacy and the passion. And remember that first and foremost, pelikula ang ginagawa mo. So dan dapat yung, nandyan dapat yung focus.
So we have a question here for Doc Loyd. The question is, why, aside from lack of information dissemination, why do you think that the young key-affected population are not really practicing, for example, the use of condom at an early stage?
It's the same question we can ask then in relation to other risky behaviors. For example, di ba, yung very simple things like riding a bike without a helmet, or even simple things like smoking and so on. What we learned from research is that knowledge does not immediately translate into attitudes and practices or behaviors. So I am sure with our almost global access now to information, di ba? Ang dali lang naman i-Google what is HIV. You can go to YouTube and translating that knowledge into something that really strikes you, that will make you commit to having a change in attitude, and then translating that later on into behaviors and practices that you will observe later on for life, needs something that is more constant. So, kaya dyan po pumapasok sa palagay ko yung importante ng peers, yung mga Y peer, yung mga friends natin, kasi kahit alam natin kung iba naman ang naririnig natin na mensahe sa ating mga kaibigan at we do not have the support from our significant others, from our parents and our friends, then it is really very difficult to translate the knowledge that we have into the correct attitudes and practices that will help us adopt more adaptive behaviors for HIV. Ayun. So kailangan talaga ng suporta at kailangan yung knowledge na yan i-translate natin through our everyday actions, through our friends and so on, in order for us to really achieve the end that we would want.
Yes, so we have another question po for Direct Wanggo. John Carlo de la Cruz said, I'd like to ask, paano po natin maa-assess yung impact ng ating ginagawang pelikula?
Actually, when you think about film as a business, when you think about film as a form of media, I guess the best way to think about it pag pelikula siya is yung magkano yung nakita niyo sa takilya, yung box office na sinasabi, because that tells you how many people have seen your movie. But then there are also many other different factors kasi that's so old school na eh. Kasi ngayon, pinapanood na sa YouTube, pinapanood na sa Facebook yung mga movies. So, ngayon, iniisip natin in views, hits, ganon. But I think more important also is, for example, kung pinag-uusapan ba yung pelikula. May ginagawa na ba sila ng mga tao ng mga memes? Alam mo yon, yung mga memes ng, for example, ng General Luna, nung One More Chance. Alam mo yon? That means pumapasok na siya sa loob ng culture. Kasi pinag-uusapan. Because yung box office, there are so many movies na hindi naman nag-hit sa box office, pero sobrang popular nung trailer, nung teaser, ginagawa siya ng meme. So even if in that level alone, pumapasok na siya sa kultura natin eh. But as a filmmaker, and if you're serious about filmmaking and art, sa totoo lang, yung kailangan mo lang yung only assessment that matters is if you touched and changed one person's life. If you had one person who you've affected by your movie, then that should be enough to know that what you did was a good job. And then you go and do another. And you can just keep making more movies, and hopefully that you'll reach out and inspire, educate, wake up as many people as you can. Yun. But that's, I think, the most personal and the best way to assess your impact is if you've changed at least one life. If you want to think about it in a larger sense, sige, sabihin natin box office hit. Yan yung importante. Number one movie in the Philippines, ganon. 2 weeks yung pelikula mo na nasa sinehan. Or 1 million views on YouTube. But the truth of the matter is, dami-daming pwedeng panoorin ng mga tao. As long as you've affected one person, that's enough. And I think that works also for the advocacy.
Yes, I agree po. I agree so much with what you have said. Last question na po tayo before we move on for last messages. Our last question would be from CJ Martinez, another one directed for Sir Wanggo. In what ways po are films effective in addressing a certain dilemma or advocacy? That's really...
Ako muna?
Yes po.
I think the reason why films and even television shows and even short YouTube videos are so effective is because gumagawa siya ng kwento eh. Sorry kasi medyo educator din ako, so I'm gonna go into teacher mode lang ng mabilis. If you want to realize, kung gusto mong isipin talaga, yung unang language ng tao ay kwento. Pag bata ka pa lang, anong unang yung natutunan? How do you know about the world? Fairy tales. Yung mga kwento ni Juan Tamad, yung mga legends and myths. Lahat tayo, dun tayo natututo eh. Through the use of telling stories. Before man had civilization, nung caveman pa lang sila, gumagawa na sila ng kwento eh. Kinakwento nila kung saan pwede makakuha ng pagkain. Dinalagay nila kung ano yung mga mababangis na hayop. It's ingrained in our lives as human beings na makinig sa kwento. We love it. Diba, what you call this? Anong sinasabi natin sa isa't isa? Uy, punta ka rito sa akin, kwentuhan tayo. Tell me a story. That's important. And movies and television shows, may mga critics na sinasabi, mga theoreticians na sinasabi, film and TV is the most complete form of storytelling. It's better than books. It's better than because nakikita mo with your own eyes and you can hear with your own ears ano nangyayari na yung kwento na nabubuo. Kasi yung libro, kailangan mo pa ng imagination. I prefer that you read because I love it if people have imagination. But when it comes to imparting a message, nothing imparts a message clearer and easier than a well-made television show or a well-made movie. Because as human beings, naghahanap talaga tayo ng magagandang kwento. We're always looking for that. Uy, kwentuhan mo naman ako. And I think that's why it's important. More than a lecture, more than whatever, I think it's always better to reach out to people by showing them a story, by telling them a story. Because it makes it real. It makes it real for them. We can empathize with a story more than we can empathize with a set of numbers and statistics. Ang daming napaka-importanting information na sinabi ni Doc kanina, but our problem in the advocacy has always been these numbers don't mean anything eh. When you say 34 people are getting HIV per day, every year 34 people are being infected every day, that doesn't mean anything to us. Sino bang 34 na yan? Matanda ba sila? May bata? Paano nila nakuha? But when you see a movie of a young boy, and that boy is having struggles just like you, and he's living in a city just like you, and then he gets HIV, mas naiisip mo, oh my God, that can happen to me. That's why it's important. I think that's why we need to tap the TV shows, media, short films, kasi dun talaga tayo nakakatuto about things.
And thank you so much, Doc Loyd and Sir Wanggo for being with us tonight and discussing about the landscape of HIV and your passion on HIV advocacy and filmmaking. So before we end this episode, we would like to ask you guys any last messages to our viewers for tonight. Let's start with Doc Loyd.
Doc Loyd, you are on mute. Can we kindly request you to... Okay.
Sorry, ang dami ko nang nasabi. Ayan. Babalik ko dun sa sa organization natin na White Peer. Kasi, di ba, karang sa mga participants natin are their members, volunteers, advocates ng White Peer, and so on. Pero ano ba ang peer? Ang peer ay kaibigan, kasama, at kung mas malalim pa ang relasyon, kapatid. At ano ba ang unang tatlong letters ng kapatid? Hindi ba KAP, which stands for knowledge, attitudes, and practices? Mga information sa inyo kanina, knowledge lang yun eh. And then hopefully with movies that are being made by directors like Wanggo, can help us develop attitude. So, guys, kayo pa rin ang magta-translate later on in practices. So, tandaan nyo yung KAP, part of your being YP, that without the knowledge, most likely will not develop attitude, and without that constant support, constant, follow-up from everyone around you and looking into yourself, you will never translate that into the practices or the behaviors that will help you protect yourself and your loved ones in the long term. So, yun po, yung last message sa akin, remember, you are a peer to yourself and at the same time, be a peer to others. Help yourself develop the knowledge, attitudes, and practices and share those knowledge, attitudes, and practices with other people to create what we call yung mga ripples of change. Isang bato lang, di ba, makakapag-create na malaking ripple effect. So, that's a challenge for all of us.
And now for direct Wanggo.
I guess for me, it's just that I am just so happy that the youth are so much more empowered now than before. The youth is so much more powerful. They're so much more informed. They have all the access to the information, not like mga gurang katulad sa akin, like the old people like myself, etc. Where we grew up. Diba? I mean, I grew up in the 80s and in the 90s na wala kaming internet. Wala kaming takot kami magtanong. We were so afraid to ask questions. We were so afraid to ask, to assert and be confident about the things that we know. Because, I mean, as much as we love our elders, as much as we love the older people in the world, you know what? They're not learning as fast as they can. And the world is changing. And the thing is, the youth are the ones who are going to change the world. They're going to make the world a better place. Kasi nakikita nyo na lahat ng mga problema eh. You have the means and the tools. So use it. Don't be afraid of your voice. Don't be afraid of people to telling you that you can't do it, because you can do it. Just protect yourselves, take care, and most importantly, take care of each other. So yeah, I believe in the power of the youth. I believe in the power of that they can change the world, and please change the world. Kaya nyo yan. Our time is done. Kayo na.
Thank you po. Thank you po sa lahat. Direct Wanggo and Dr. Loyd. Now, let's say goodbye muna for the speakers, and we will be conducting a few announcements for the kabayanihan and paggawa ng maikling pelikula.
And Sir Wanggo for
thank you very much for having
our
us.
event for tonight, for speaking here and sharing your thoughts and your insights para ma-inspire yung youth natin.
Yes, it's really inspiring po. Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Ayun, Kyla. So, as one of the new advocates and soon to be a member of the YP here, di ba? Ang dami mo natutunan for tonight.
Yes po, super. Grabe. Parang ang informative ng night na to, and the night is just getting started pa rin naman. So, now we will be conducting a few announcements.
Yes. So, starting with the hashtag kabayanihan paggawa ng maikling pelikula. So, this is actually kind of in continuation of the other kabayanihan projects or activities that were done, such as the kabayanihan sa paggawa ng larawan, kabayanihan sa paggawa ng poster, at kabayanihan sa pagsulat ng tula. So right now we will be having a contest or a competition which is making their own short film.
Yes, so I highly encourage yung mga kabataan na tulad ko to conduct this and be involved in this advocacy, because it really helps that we are going to be open to these kinds of conversation. So, let's call on Ralph, Ivan, Samson, Cap.
Hello!
To further discuss the hashtag kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula.
Ayan, thank you so much, Kyla at kapatid na Mami J, Aurora. Ayan, no? So basically, we will be launching tonight the kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula. Gaya nga ng sinabi ni, kumbaga, actually, nag-take down notes ako sa mga sharing ng ating mga guests right now, no? Maganda yung sinabi ng ating mga guest speaker, lalong-lalo na si Doc Loyd, at the same time si kapatid na Wanggo, no, na we really have to create safe spaces for every young people and adolescent to talk about their issues affecting ourselves. And of course, talk to a friend. Huwag mahiyang magtanong, 'di ba? Kung ano nga, 'di ba? May mga tayo kanta nga, huwag mahiyang magtanong, 'di ba? So basically, please do not forget to ask your friends. That's why it's very important na mas padamihin pa natin yung tinatawag na mga peer educators. Nabanggit ni Doc Loyd kanina yung mga peer educators at saka yung role ng mga peers, no? And we really acknowledge na dapat mas dumami pa yung mga positive peers natin na kung saan our friends can actually ask important questions. Yung mga questions na hindi napapag-usapan sa loob ng bahay o di kaya ay sa mga families natin because, like for example, sex and HIV, kunwari, is a very taboo thing to talk inside our family. And it's very important na meron tayong mapupuntahan, no? But we have to ensure na ito ay isang safe space at the same time, equip din ng mga knowledge yung mga peers na kasama natin para at least ready din silang magbigay ng information. And of course, sabi ni kanina ni kapatid na Wanggo na peers helping other peers, no? Kasi kumbaga sa time nila wala pa masyadong mga internet and social media. Good thing for us. Yeah, good thing for us right now. And even yung batch ni Kyla dahil sobrang may access na talaga sa internet, no? So, kumbaga other peers are helping other peers to inform. At lastly, kumbaga nasabi na nga ni kapatid Wanggo na young people right now are empowered, no? Pero kulang pa din. At ina-acknowledge natin na despite of being empowered, our counterpart adult should also listen to us, di ba? Kumbaga, dapat ma-establish natin yung adult-youth partnership talaga na sometimes we really acknowledge yung mga wisdom ng mga parents natin. We always acknowledge yung wisdom ng mga adult natin. But of course, at this time, they also need to listen to us because not all the time din ay magagaling dapat sa kanila information dahil magkaiba yung generations natin sa kanila, no? And lastly, that's why tayo sa YP Pilipinas in partnership with the United Nations Population Fund and CSI ay naglunsad tayo ng kabayanihan. In fact, nung quarantine period nga, meron tayong kabayanihan sa pagkuha ng larawan, kabayanihan sa paggawa ng poster, kabayanihan sa pagsulat ng tula. And right now, we will be launching, no, yung kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula. So, we would like to call all young filmmakers, filmmakers age 15 to 24 years old, at least 3 to 5 members na gustong mag-submit ng kanilang entries. Ayan po yung ating criteria and guidelines po. So, feel free to like our Facebook page at YPR Pilipinas, at the same time, UNFPA Philippines, to know more about the kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula. So, ayan po lahat ng mga possible topics o na kumbaga tema ng inyong mga pelikula. At dahil kanina ay narinig niyo yung mga tips coming from our guest speakers from HIV going down to the filmmaking. Yeah, baka ma-merge natin yun, no? We can make use of our platform. That's why don't forget, dahil alam mo ba Aurora at Kyla, magkano ang ating premyo dito sa ating kabayanihan sa paggawa ng pelikula?
Magkano po? I-encourage natin sila.
Ayan. Because YP Pilipinas will be giving at least 15,000 pesos sa lahat ng mga finalist natin at pipili tayo ng 5 grupo or 5 finalists for this one na pwedeng manalo ng 15,000 pesos, no? So, deadline of submission is December 20. Alam ko sobrang malapit na. At ang screening natin ay during the holiday and hopefully we can give the award on December 30. That's why after this session, don't forget to invite your friends, invite your mga youth organization natin sa mga schools, Kyla, yung mga friends natin, no, to really join kasi ang dami talaga, no, hindi lang yung mga college natin na kumbaga nasa college or kumbaga kurso ng film industry, pero yung mga iba-ibang mga kurso pero ang kanilang passion ay paggawa ng film, no? And I hope may natutunan kayo doon sa sinabi ni Wanggo kanina na Wag mahiyang magtanong, mag-research, at ayan na, yung opportunity natin, we are creating more safe spaces for young people to develop and harness their skills. Kaya, mag-submit na tayo ng entries for our kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula.
Ayan. Kailangan na sila mag-start the shooting right now.
Yeah, actually dyan sa ating criteria, meron tayong criteria, no, they have options if ever they already have some ready na mga videos. So dapat na-shoot nila within 2019 yung pinaka-latest natin. 2019 tatanggapin natin 'yon. So ayan, medyo madami yung mga mechanics natin, but don't worry because it will be posted on our social media page.
Okay, so mga Cabs, go na. We encourage you to go and pursue this endeavor because hindi lang to cash opportunity. This is an opportunity to have this conversation and educate our fellow young population. So grabe, I can't believe na nakaisang oras na tayo. Salamat sa ating mga panauhin ngayong gabi na kahit sobrang busy nila, pinaunlakan nila ang ating paanyaya. Maraming salamat po mga ma'am and mga sir.
Yes, mga kapatid, at isa na namang makabuluhang kwentuhan at chikahan ang natapos sa episode na to ngayong gabi. And I'm sure marami sa ating mga taga-subaybay ay may natutunan at may mga bago na ding pag-iinteresan such as filmmaking, di ba? And syempre, yung 15,000 pesos.
Pero bago ang lahat, wag niyong kakalimutang i-follow, like, and share ang ating mga social media accounts. For UNFPA Philippines, the Facebook page is @UNFPA-PH. For Twitter, UNFPA-PH. And for Instagram, @UNFPA-PH.
Sa atin namang YPR Pilipinas Facebook page @YPR Pilipinas and Twitter and Instagram @YPRPH.
So we would like to thank our partners, UNFPA Philippines, CHSI, at lahat ng mga nag-share ng ating kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula.
Yes, ang ating TLF share, ang Positive Youth Development Network, the Red Whistle, ang Youth Organization Registration Program, or the YORP, si Aura Safely, and of course, Galing Pook.
We would also like to thank Bago Tayo, Children, Youth in Governance, Tayo Social Peace Advocate of Real Tawi-Tawian Active Network, Pink Salmon Plus Association, Kaagan Plus, UNAIDS Philippines, Oroplan Community Center, the Waray-Waray Youth Advocates, Streets to School, and lastly, Youth for Youth Organization.
And of course, last but definitely not the least, Kyla and kapatid na Ralph, sa lahat ng mga members or member organizations and youth volunteers ng YPR Pilipinas at sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas na nanonood for tonight's episode.
True. So, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon, no? Kanina sobrang nag-peak tayo, nasa mga 90 viewers tayo at sobrang nagpapasalamat ako sa ating mga partners at sana sa lahat ng mga viewers natin ay magpasa tayo ng ating entry para sa kabayanihan sa paggawa ng maikling pelikula. Any message mga kapatid? Last message, Aurora and Kyla, before we will go?
So again,
Mami J, ikaw muna.
Again and again, YPR Pilipinas, thank you so much for having me for the second time around during the Quarant Talks. And of course, sa mga nanunood ngayon, especially sa youth or sa young key affected population, please be socially aware and be informed. And not only you, also you're as much as possible, let your family members not only listen but be open to possibilities, to matters that everyone is socially involved, diba? Especially sa sinabi nga kanina ni kapatid na Kyla na yung pandemic is hindi lang si COVID-19 but also si HIV.
True.
Yes. Ako po, thank you for having me, YPR Filipinas and UNFPA Philippines. I'm really sorry for the internet connection delay, but I am here. So I would like to encourage also my fellow youth advocates to educate yourself and engage in this conversations. This is an important matter. This is our life. This is our time, and we need to step up. Again, I am Kyla Velasco from the University of Santo Tomas. Good night.
Di ba? May bokang closing spiel si ang kapatid na Kyla. This is Maria
Of
Aurora,
course.
Sikin Reyna, aka Mommy
Period.
J from the City of Golden Friendship, Cagayan de Oro. Ganon.
And it has been a great pleasure. I am Kuya Ralph, ang president ng YPR Pilipinas. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat, mga kapatid. Bye-bye!
Bye!
Be, kumusta? Aurang-aura ka na ba? Or haggard na? Lahat tayo ay may hugot at pinagdadaanan. Sa jowa, sa kalusugan. Minsan nga, parang pasa na natin ang buong mundo. At ngayong may COVID-19, mas pinahirap pa ang access natin sa iba't ibang serbisyo, lalo na ang sa HIV services. Kaya minsan, wish natin na may makausap tayo about sa kung ano ang options natin, di ba? Buti na lang, may online beshies! Feeling worried ka ba sa patuloy na protection mo sa HIV ngayong panahon ng COVID? Nag-aalala ka ba sa sexual health mo at kailangan mo ng HIV test? Ikaw ba ay nakaranas ng anumang uri na pang-aabuso? Feeling sad ka ba dahil laantala ang iyong pagtatransition? Valid ang mga feelings na nararamdaman mo. Kaya naman, may online beshi na handang makinig sa'yo. Libre, confidential, at ligtas. Kumausap ng online beshi. Mag-message sa Aura Safely sa Facebook, Twitter, at Instagram. O pumunta sa aurasafely.ph online beshies for more info.